Our post-game show continues on the radio, and welcome to the front of the arena for our post-game show in the rink as well. We're going to have Brenden Forbes join us in just a moment. We've got the head coach of the Clippers, Mike Vandekamp, to join us here right now. Coach, key moment for me in this game tonight is a save by Jared Shammerhorn, shorthanded in the second period when the game is 3-1. Was that a key?
That was one of the moments for sure. I didn't think they had a lot of real quality chances. Their first goal came against the momentum and the way that we were playing, but we worked hard in the first period, but all we had was a 1-1 tie. So here again, a team was still hanging around a little bit, and we needed to have some killer instinct. And obviously, when you get a power play and they get the best scoring chance to start early, and then to come back and score on the rush right after that save, that was a pretty big play for sure.
Jared's game appears to be simple right now. It's very effective. 1 goal against in a Salmon Arm victory, 1 goal against here, in control and not overplaying anything.
Well, and I think we have two distinctly different goalies, right? Their style of play. Jason's very aggressive. He's sort of acrobatic, athletic, relies on his reflexes. Jared's big, steady, calm, and I think it's good that we have two different looking guys like that in the goal, and it's nice that Jared's grabbing some confidence now. He's played well his last few games, and the guys are playing with confidence in front of him, and that's really important too.
Offensively, the team comes alive, and you've been so close in your recent victories. 11 of the first 20 games decided by 1 goal. This a game you had some breathing room. What does that mean to the group?
Well, I think we still had a lot of goals that we were shooting for, and we were trying to keep our habits real good and play just hard right through, whether it's 6-1 or 1-1. But obviously it takes a little pressure off, right? You can feel that. You're in control of the game, and it's not quite as stressful. I think that's probably the biggest thing. We've had to be so focused in all the time in these close games, and the difference maker tonight's the power play, right? We scored on the power play, and that ends up opening up the game for us. And we've known that as a team lately, that with these close games being the way they've been, that if we could just start to chip in on the power play, that we'd be able to break some of these games open. Tonight, I think that was a big factor, and it certainly took the heat off for a change, because like you and I have been talking about for the past few weeks, I'm going gray and Ole's going bald, so we don't need those stressful games anymore.
You make a switch, Greg Fraser moves back and he plays the point on the power play, and you have 5 power play goals in 2 games. I don't think it's as simple as to say it's all Greg, because he hasn't even been on the ice for all of those goals, but it seems to have made an impact.
Yeah, I'm not sure what really triggered it. I guess we worked on it a little bit in practice, talked about it. Maybe I just identified 2 distinct units and kind of focused in on that. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is instead of just continually mixing it up and trying to, every time it doesn't work, you change it, and then it doesn't work, you keep changing it. And then now I guess we just decided we're going to buckle down, focus in on just those 2 units for a bit here, try to get them going. It's worked so far. Obviously the last couple of games, you said 5 goals I think now, so 5 power play goals in 2 games. That's almost our whole season in the past 2 games, so it's definitely a good step for us.
When Dolan took the hit in the third period from Smith and he went off, you went over and talked to Colton, and I was wondering if what you were saying was, when you see that guy coming in, here's what I want you to do. Can you repeat what you said to him?
No, because what we wanted him to do is against the rules. But we did talk about that, because I just actually reverted all the way back to when I played junior, because I remember right in practice our coach talking to our players about that exact scenario, because that guy took a real healthy run at him, and he was fearless. He was first to the puck the way a defenseman needs to be, but there's a couple things that he could have done to defend himself just a little bit in a situation like that. So that's why we went and talked about it. And Colton's had such a wonderful season for us, and he's a quiet leader and a really important player. So I think it was just really important that we just quickly talked about it and just give him some tips as to what he can do in the future.
Just a final comment, Victoria's in here tomorrow, and what you have is an opportunity of first place in your own destiny. It doesn't mean much when you're 22 games into a season, but you have the chance to come out of tomorrow night in first place by beating the team that currently occupies the spot.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be really much of a topic for us. I think we're just focused on trying to keep the momentum on our side, playing well in our building, building on a good game tonight, and it's a big game anyways. It's a divisional game. They're obviously a rival of ours. We've had 2 really close games with them so far this year, and the first place part will take care of itself one way or the other, I guess. And obviously we want to win the hockey game, and if that's how she ends up, that we're in first place in the morning, they don't give the trophy away in November, so we won't be too worried about that.
Coach, thanks for this. Enjoy the win. We'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Coach Mike Vandekamp joining us here on our post-game segment. We'll now turn things over to Brenden Forbes. Brenden, it was imperative on your team to have a bounce-back game tonight, and you're able to do that. Talk about what you guys went through, the bus ride home on Wednesday night, tomorrow, and this game day preparing to make sure you had the big rebound.
Yeah, I think that the last game in Port Alberni really didn't sit well with us and kind of gave us a little fire in our belly, and we went to practice knowing that we couldn't lose two in a row because good teams don't do that. So we kept things simple and really focused in, and I thought that showed in our start today when we were ready to go off the hop, and we just wanted a little bit more than maybe we did on Wednesday.
Your assistant coach with the fantastic looking mustache, Michael Olson, told me before the game, everybody needs to keep it simple. And I look at the play that you generated to get your team on the scoreboard, and then I look at a similar play where Fraser takes a shot and Kramer puts a rebound in for a power play goal. Is that simple hockey something that is starting to come almost second nature right now?
Yeah, I mean, simple the better, really. I mean, if you get too complicated, it's a lot easier to make mistakes, and we really focus on that in practice, keeping things simple, and we do a lot of shooting and passing and shooting for pads and rebounds and stuff like that, and I think it's really starting to pay off, and it's nice to see.
Talking with Brenden Forbes on our post-game show here, and if anyone does have a question, if you can write it down on a piece of paper or give it to Mr. Kyle Anderson, the handsome guy in the suit behind the camera, and Kyle will certainly hand that my way, and we'll ask a question of Brenden Forbes from the audience here too. Feel free to do that. So just a couple more moments with Brenden Forbes. It's a divisional game tomorrow, Brenden. It's against a team that right now is in first place, and by the way, it's 4-4 late in regulation. The last report we had, Victoria and Alberni Valley, which would keep the Grizzlies ahead of the Clippers, but a first place showdown. Are you feeling the emotion of that situation?
Not too much right now, but I'm sure when it comes to the game time tomorrow, we'll have that in the back of our minds, and we'll really be focused in on trying to get upper hand in the season series too. Not so much first, maybe just get an upper hand on the season series and try to do our best and continue the ball rolling again and get some streaks going.
With that team, what's the key to playing against that team? You've faced them twice in your building. Here's the same situation. You face them again in your building. You know, they have a very dynamic, small but skilled line, and beyond that, it's a group that works hard.
Yeah, they're definitely a hardworking team, and they got the one line that's got some skill. So I think in our own zone, we just got to be really simple, block shots, get pucks out when we can, and not really miss opportunities down low on our own end because they'll end up in the back of the net because they can make some plays.
Does your group now believe that you guys are an elite team? I think there was some questions about that right through the middle of October, but it was the game when you moved to the right wing that, and not to put too much of this on your shoulders here, but the game that you moved to the right wing seems to have been a real change and a real landmark game for the team. Points now in 8 of your last 9 hockey games since that move. So is your belief level different?
Yeah, I think as a team standpoint, I think our belief's something we've earned and something that's coming more and more, and will continue to grow throughout the season as long as we keep confidence within ourselves and keep everything positives and playing good hockey, and the belief will get greater and greater.
Brag about your line mates a little bit. So we'll start with Reed Sturos. His skill level is starting to shine through more and more. This is a guy that I don't think around the league gets credit for what he does, but you know what he does.
Yeah, he doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't get a lot of credit, and too many people probably don't know who he is, but he's a great player. He's got great hands. He's really fast and makes smart plays, and his shot's been good, and it's been an honor to play with him.
You wear a letter. You play with the captain, Trevor Fitzgerald. You guys engineered a big goal tonight. Trevor does so many things that are on the coach's stat sheet, but maybe not on the BCHL stat sheet. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think he's a really defensive player, keeps things simple and makes the simple plays that maybe don't stand out and maybe you wouldn't notice if you weren't looking for them. But I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I mean, it's helping us and helping our team, and I'm happy to play with him as well.
Brenden, thanks for this. We'll let you change out of your gear.
All right, thank you.
Brenden Forbes of the Nanaimo Clippers joining us here on our post-game show. We'd like to thank everyone for sticking around at the arena, and also on our radio show. We're going to have the out-of-town scoreboard on the radio next, including a game that's late in the going between the Alberni Valley Bulldogs and the Victoria Grizzlies. A regulation win for Alberni would put the Clippers in first place. A tie of any kind, a second point, of course, for Victoria keeps them in first. But the big showdown is here tomorrow. More next on 106.9 The Wolf.